Kamal to today's webinar on how to effectively outsource and reduce IT cost by 50%. My name is Amal Amlapure. I'm a CEO and solution architect at Gunada Software Solution. Uh, I have been in the IT industry for last 20 years. I spent more than half of my professional life working in one of the top outsourcing firm, Cognizant Technology Solution, and almost half running Gunada Software Solution. I specialize in financial market and digital technologies with outsourcing, custom software development, and project management as a key areas of expertise. Uh, I'm a core techie by nature, and I like helping businesses understand the potential of a digital technology and also realize the growth by making a proper digital strategy. So that's a little intro about me. Let's get started with actual webinar. So today I'm planning to cover these topics. So we'll understand what is outsourcing, how we can reduce the cost using outsourcing. We'll see few of the case studies to understand how does that work. We'll also see how we can identify the optimal areas for outsourcing. We'll also discuss how to choose a right strategic partner for the outsourcing. What are the risks associated with outsourcing and how to mitigate those? I will also cover a proper implementation roadmap based on this topic discussed. So finally, I have kept some time for Q&A session. So if you have any questions or concerns, please make a note of it and then we can discuss it towards the end of the webinar. So let's start by understanding what is outsourcing. So what is outsourcing, right? I'm sure most of you are aware of the term outsourcing, and that is one of the reasons you are attending this webinar. But let me try to explain for those few who may not be familiar with the term. So it is basically a practice of hiring an external firm to handle work typically performed by your internal teams. So let's say you are an edutech firm, right? Offering some educational courses online. So typical functions would be, I was taking an example of edutech firm, right? In typical functions of edutech firm are if they are offering the education courses online. So typical functions are like designing a courses, implementing the technology or a platform required for this online courses, sales, marketing, accounting, so on. Now, if you're hiring a team to do any of this function, let's say software development, because we are doing this thing, platform development. So you are basically outsourcing the platform development activity to an external firm. So that is what is outsourcing, right? So it could include like almost any function business can have, like IT, sales, customer support, HR, and like anything, right? So for this webinar, we will only focus on IT as a primary area, right? So why outsourcing, right? What are the benefits of outsourcing? Actually, the benefits of outsourcing are numerous, but obvious and most important one is the cost saving. So outsourcing can significantly reduce labor and operational costs. Uh, it also allows your company to focus on its core business activities by offloading non-core functions to external experts. So more focused work for uh, your core team and better results on what you do best, right? So we covered like focus on the core business function. Additionally, outsourcing provides access to specialized skills and technologies that may not be available in-house. And the last benefit being a flexibility and scalability. So it offers the flexibility and scalability to meet the changing business need. We will be discussing some of these benefits in detail with a case study or in a different slide. But for this webinar, I'm majorly going to concentrate on cost reduction benefit. We'll see there are like all these side benefits are covered when you even aim for the cost reduction. In this section, the cost reduction through outsourcing, I'm going to discuss few case studies. Idea is to get insight on how client choose these areas to outsource. What was the need for the outsourcing, and obviously how it benefited them in reducing costs as well as the other benefits on that. So I'm going to cover three case studies. I have taken three very optimal but different areas to outsource. As you would see, the cost benefits in each case was more than 50%. I just want to mention that I've selected this case study from for the businesses to whom the cost saving or cost reduction was the major decision factor. And so these are all early startups or the SMEs. Uh, you'll see like I mentioned in the previous slide also, you will see they got the many side benefits by choosing to outsource for the cost reduction. So let's get started. So before we dive into the case study, I just wanted to explain the structure. So I have divided the case study in the four section. First one establishes the background and our entry point to the each case. Then we have a cost impact or a cost comparison section. The critical takeaway section will list the key learnings from these cases. And then last section will help you understand or relate with your business need if this case actually relates with your business need and you can choose for outsourcing or not. Okay. So, admit. Okay. So the first case study I would like to cover is for a technology startup. They had a platform to compare the different cloud solution for your requirement and used to provide a comparison report on different KPI, like including cost, load, and more. So if I have to talk about their technical abilities, they had a highly skilled but a small team working on the core project. And then if I look at the background, they had completed the technical architecture and framework, and also an MVP was in place. They were working on making it as a SaaS platform and adding additional new features to the project. So during that phase, they realized that their senior developers were spending a lot of effort on a backend development activities, which was more or less framework driven. What I mean by that is like it was this development was almost a repetitive task with a variable data point. So if there are any technical developers, they can relate it with backend API development. So they decided to outsource this backend development and let the internal team work on the core part. So that's where our team, like small team of two developers, got involved, and we worked for almost 8 to 9 months. So if I look at the cost impact of the outsourcing here, right? So they anyway needed two backend developers. That much work was there. The average cost would have been like a let's assuming 10,000 per month per person. It would have been at $20,000. So with the offshoring to India, it was approximately reduced to $8,000 work because there's a low impact work. It was anyway getting completed within the same time frame. But the outsourcing did help them the cost reduction of almost like more than 60%. And so if I look at the critical takeaway in this case, very like the decision making factor. So their internal team worked on the like initial architecture, developed a framework, and then they decided that to outsource the backend development activity, which was again a low impact or a repetitive task. The most of the CRUD operations were there. So it also helped along with the cost saving, it also helped with the freeing of their senior resources to work on a more complex computation algorithm, and then the core feature enhancement which they were working on. So is this case study applies to you, right? So if you have a small team of small team of developers and lot of work to manage, and if you have identified or you can identify the low impact repetitive task which consumes a lot of time, and if the cost and the time saving can benefit your business growth, then definitely this kind of partial or full software development outsourcing is one of the options or area you should consider for. So moving on to the next case study. This one is also a startup case study, but I wanted to cover different angle here. I chose an Indian client for this, just to make a point that outsourcing is need not to be always like a offshoring. Definitely offshoring is a major factor, but then outsourcing can need not to be always an offshoring. So uh, this about the company background, this one was a small IT consulting company. They wanted to develop an e-learning platform. They had their internal team, but they were working on the different areas like a design or .NET framework. But their founder wanted to develop a very functional MVP and wanted to get it developed very fast. So he decided to outsource the MVP development, MVP minimal viable product development, to a external firm. So that's how we entered into the MVP development phase. Basically, we designed and developed MVP for them, and now their team manages the minor changes and platform maintenance. What I wanted to showcase at a very high level is how in-house development might have caused like a multifold expenses than outsourcing this MVP development to other firm. So let's say in this scenario, they would have decided to build an in-house team. The first and foremost challenge is onboarding of these developers. In Indian market, it will take at least 2 months, minimum 2 months, right? And then more than that in normal cases. Also, you have a different also you will need a different skill workforce here for developing an MVP. You will need a designer, you will need backend developer, you will need front-end developer or a full stack developer, then in QA and so on, right? Let's assume the in-house team, just for the assumption, they build a team of 3 developers. But in normal MVP development scenario, not all work can be done in parallel. What I mean is uh, not every developer will have worked all the 3 months of a span, right? You can plan efficiently whatever way you want, but still you will have a dependency on each of the pattern. Like front end cannot start unless design is placed. Integration cannot happen unless APIs are developed. So on, like, right? So you she will have that dependency, and then there will be an idle time for each of the developer. Let's say our how we approach this problem and how outsourcing helped with the help of cost saving as a factor, right? So assuming again, we already assumed that MVP was developed with 3 developers. Let's say it would have costed them around 9 lakh rupees or $12,000. Now with a hiring cost, you'll have to add a hiring cost of 2,000 or $3,000. So we actually had a team of 4 people, and we completed under $4,000. But how? Basically, we like the outsourcing or the agency like us have multiple projects and multiple resources, so we can always rotate them between these, and that's how we were able to finish it within 3 months and at a budget of $4,000. So again, it's a cost saving of almost 75% in this case also. So what are the critical takeaways in this case? So if you do not have expertise in-house, then in-house development is going to be very slow because of all the hiring and team coordination activity. Outsourcing is actually a key to achieve faster time to market. Again, hiring will add to your additional overhead cost. And for MVP phase, keeping cost under control or fixed, and it is a very important thing, and outsourcing will help you with that process or with that requirement, right? So is this case for you? If you are a technology firm or a startup looking to validate a new idea on with MVP, and the required MVP skill set is not present in house, and obviously developing MVP with fixed cost and time to market is important. Then I think definitely you should go for the MVP, like outsourcing of MVP development to the external firm. Okay, so we are at the final case study. Again, I have taken a very common scenario, but I wanted to cover this one to showcase the most optimal area to outsource for small or a micro enterprises. So this is our ongoing assignment. The client is US-based healthcare provider for seniors. They provide franchisee in different states, and somehow they develop quite a complex web and mobile infrastructure. We basically got involved in one of their enhancement phase, and now manage their technical platform, also customer and application support. Right. So before we came up, a more background, before we came into the picture, they hired local developers for maintenance and enhancements, and support, customer support was managed by one of their associates. So they looked for alternatives for a couple of reasons. One, or a primary, they had a finite IT budget and they wanted to reduce the IT expenditure. And then the two being, there was not like a very busy work to occupy a full-time application support person. Like there was not that much work to keep the person busy for a whole day. So that was another reason they were looking for the change. So what we did is we provided them an alternative and started managing both development and application support. One of the tweak which we did is we provided them part-time application support person and provided them maintenance and enhancement services on demand, like basically on a phased manner, instead of a retainer basis. Again, agency with a multiple developer and multiple projects can do that. It's not possible in-house where you have a single project to manage, right? Again, if I just wanted to make a point here. So the case study, why I have chosen the case study which we have worked. Basically, I just wanted to showcase that, like that's our experience, and that's how you can tweak and how you can outsource. So these are the tips I wanted to include. Why the case study? That's why I included these case studies where we actually delivered result and the cost reduction benefits. So okay, if I look at the cost impacts, very straightforward. Like they were spending somewhere around $10,000 per month, as against now they spend somewhere around $30 to $100 with outsourcing. Again, cost saving of around 60 to 70%. So if I look at the critical takeaways in this particular case, the system like this may not need a full-time in-house employee to provide application support. You can always work out a better plan with outsourcing firm. Also, you can outsource the enhancement work on demand as in phases instead of having a full-time developer on a payroll. If you basically, if you can think out, or you can think out a plan and your outsourcing partner is accommodating, then I think you can always work on like a win-win situation for both of you, and avoid the AMC or retainer for the stable system like this. Again, is it for you? If you have a system which is stable but does need like a application and customer support time to time, if you're incurring the retainer cost on maintenance and development, and if your IT budget is limited, then definitely I think majority of companies do go for the outsourcing of these customer support and application support. There are different reasons that I will cover later on. But this is again another very optimal area you should consider for outsourcer. Okay, so as I mentioned, I deliberately included the case studies which were common cases, right? But if you do a bit of a research, you will realize that many startups and the organization have benefited by outsourcing key IT functions. So I just wanted to take uh, some of the examples which we can relate to. So I listed these four famous outsourcing cases here. And then this research work I outsourced to ChatGPT. But rest assured, I have verified all the references. First one, everybody knows WhatsApp. To minimize the cost and access the high quality talent, WhatsApp outsourced its development to Eastern Europe. So this decision allowed the company to keep the expenses low while leveraging the expertise of the skilled developers. This this strategy, outsourcing strategy, contributed to WhatsApp's rapid growth. And with we all know, like app is eventually became the most downloaded and most used for the messaging platform. If I take up again very known example, Slack. So Slack outsourced its initial design and development work to a company called MATLAB. It's a Canadian design firm. This collaboration actually helped transform Slack from their beta product into a highly successful tool. So now it's been used by millions. I am sure most of you must have used it for one or other project for a collaboration purpose. The third case, again, a very well-known application or tool used by most of the developers, GitHub. So known for its actually version control and source code management, GitHub outsourced its development of MVP, minimum viable product, to a backend developer. Now, this outsourcing helped GitHub to build a robust backend efficiently, contributing to its success as a leading software development collaboration platform. The last example I have taken is again to cover some bit different areas. So Basecamp, they faced with the internal workflows and the client support challenges. Basecamp decided to outsource the essential development functions to focus on the business growth. So this outsourcing helped the company to improve the issues like the internal processes and also better serve its customers. So they basically did what they do best. They concentrated on core and then outsource the other part to the external firm. So again, as I mentioned, there are many cases available where outsourcing has helped the startups, the bigger firm to in different ways. Uh, you can research or I can share some of the material after this webinar with you all. Let's try to do a comparison because we are anyway as we as we establish that outsourcing is an replacement, is the alternative to in-house. So let's try to do a comparative analysis for in-house versus outsource. So let's say if you decide to hire for the skill which you don't have, onboarding and recruitment cost is going to be quite a lot, specifically for SME. It may not impact a bigger organization, but it will have the cost. Outsourcing, it's none, right? Because you're not onboarding or recruiting anybody. If we talk about the salaries and benefits, you have to pay salaries and benefits to employees, and they tend to keep increasing. Salary revision, benefit recognitions, resignations, all these can be a reason. So in outsourcing, you are paying a fixed service fee with no additional overhead cost. Training and development, at time you need to invest in training and development of your employees to either add to a skill or upskill of employees, and that has a cost associated with it. So as against outsourcing, you already have the expert, you have outsourced it to the experts, so you don't need to provide any you don't need to spend it on a training and development. What you might need is a minimal training on like your platform or the domain or your existing framework. So there's a minimum training required, right? Uh, Infrastructure and equipment. Infrastructure and equipment, as most of you may be aware of, is a sizable expense component, and it is directly proportional to number of employees. Now, with outsourcing, you can save a lot of equipment and infrastructure costs, primarily because that cost is being taken by your outsourcing partner. So you can also benefit, like on an average, it's 7 to 8% of your overall expenses. So you can save that by outsourcing. The scalability, if I talk about in terms of ongoing maintenance and support, in-house, it could add to a variable cost because you don't know exactly what kind of issues are coming and how much time you need to spend. Now, with outsourcing, you can always have a SLA-based support. So when you get into the contract, you can decide on service level agreement that, okay, this is the time limit and this is the cost it is going to take up to solve this kind of issue. So basically, cost is predetermined in case of ongoing maintenance support. So if your last point, if your project needs a ramp up and ramp down of developers, right? You do not have that kind of a flexibility in-house. Like you cannot just hire and fire on will, maybe fire on a will, but it will add like a branding image. But hiring definitely not possible on will, right? But you are free from all this with outsourcing. You can always hire a team when there is a need, and once the work is completed, you can let the team go. That's what I wanted to show. Like what if you decide to outsource, what will be the benefit against the in-house? Key pointer we wanted to discuss here in this slide. Basically, I want to discuss the optimal areas to outsource and how, like, what are the uh, criteria you can apply to select or to select those outsourcing areas. So not all ID functions are created equal when it comes to outsourcing. Here I have listed some of the key IT functions that are suitable for outsourcing. We already saw like 3 to 4 items in the different cases, live cases, which we checked out. So, okay, MVP development, as we saw in the case study, MVP development is one of the most optimal area where you can control cost and also achieve a faster time to market. Software development, if you're a non-technology startup or a firm or even a technology company, software development can be most suitable option for you. If I had to check out the reason, like you have access to a global talent pool with specialized skills. Then again, with offshoring, cost saving due to lower labor costs in different regions, scalability to meet the project deadlines without a long-term commitment, like the flexibility and scalability we discussed, right? Again, for the same reason, enhancement and maintenance of existing software or a platform is also a very suitable option for outsourcing. Help desk and technical support. Why the help desk and technical support, right? Basically, any system which might need 24/7 support availability across. So it you can achieve that because of different time zones, and you can also achieve the cost benefit there. Again, maintaining 3 employees or the associate just to have the help desk and technical support 3 into like whatever number of people required, it is going to increase your operational costs a lot. So outsourcing this help desk and technical support in these particular scenarios is an again optimal area you should consider for it. Application and integration similar to development, but it's like basically you there are people with the application and system integration skill. So access to these specialized skills for integrating diverse system and application will help you with that. So this skill is a primary criteria here. Also, because you are going with the experts, it will reduce the risk of integration failures and then the downtime of your system. Cybersecurity services. So with so many manual or AI hacks happening, I think cybersecurity has become the most crucial area for any IT development requirement, right? So why you should outsource? What you get? Let's see first what you get. You get a specialized expertise in identifying and mitigating the security risk, security threats. The proactive monitoring will be there. Incident response will be there. Then again, because of their expertise, compliance with the regulatory requirement and industry standards will be there. Now, think of it like if you have an in-house uh, cyber security expert. I don't think it is like optimal from the cost angle, because the one person may not have the full-time work to just maintain and then knowledge also of that system. So you can always consider the cyber security services to an expert team. Similarly, for the testing and QA, it's again one of the most outsourced IT function. So testing and QA, again, third-party vendors will have a better, uh, or your product quality will be better. Then again, somebody who has a good expertise in the some good expertise in the testing area, they will have availability of different product to test different tools and methodology. So that is going to definitely help you with the outsourcing of testing. So I think so. What is the criteria, or what are the criteria to selecting the area of outsourcing, right? Area to outsource. Definitely go for non-core activities. Identify such areas where the impact is less, and identify its impact on overall project. Uh, High operational costs, the function which are expensive to maintain in-house, like a 24/7 support, IT support. Specialized skills, if you need a specialized skills and you don't have a internal availability, then I think that is like a no-brainer criteria to go for it. Again, it depends on multiple factors, like when you want it, what is the vision for that particular functionality, you want to do it in-house or outsource that. So these factors will vary case to case. And then scalability, area which needs to scale fast. You should definitely add that criteria to choose outsourcing area. These are like very high level criteria I mentioned. I know it may not give you exact yes or no answer, but I wanted to do that, like come up with a mechanism which might help to decide maybe on a number basis, right? So what I have done is I have created a detailed decision matrix, which will help you with like decision making of this identifying areas and outsourcing. So decision matrix I was talking about. As such, all pointers are like whatever I have listed are self-explanatory. I know the font is very less. I'm not sure if you are able to view it very clearly. But the major decision indicators which I have listed here are cost analysis, expertise and quality, time to market, control and flexibility, risk management, resource allocation, strategic alignment, operation efficiency, customer support, customer satisfaction and innovation, and then last one is the competitiveness. Now, uh, pretty self-explanatory, but still, I'm gonna share this Excel with all of you, and this will help you out understand. Like, I will put up a note just to explain how you are supposed to put up a rating and all. So you just need to score out of 5 for each of these indicator in in-house and outsourcing. I have listed the table where, like in this, I wanted to take up a scenario and wanted to explain it detail, but I think we are running out of time. So I'll quickly cover. This particular example is for the like hypothetical example with a MVP development. Okay. So let's try to look at few points so that we understand how to rate it, right? Let's start with the cost analysis itself. So initial cost comparison. So initial cost is always higher in for in-house because of the reason we saw than outsourcing. So what I have done is I have put the three for in-housing and four for outsourcing. Now ongoing cost. Again, similarly, ongoing cost is in case of outsourcing, it is fixed. As in, like you have the price, like you have the fees discussed, so it is fixed. Whereas it could vary in-house. Let's say somebody leaves and then you are taking the high salaried employee, then it's going to go up and so on. So ongoing cost is basically it could vary in case of in-house. So again, I rated 3 and 4, right? Uh, Cost efficiency would like basically cost efficiency is evaluation of cost effectiveness for your deliver or per deliverable, right? Assuming there's no expertise in house and cost effectiveness is like cost if you do not have obviously in-house expertise, cost effectiveness is high in case of outsourcing than in-house. So again, 3-4 rated, right? Uh, Okay, let's take the reverse example. Okay, let's take the control and flexibility as an example. Okay. Now, so if I talk about the project control, level of control over the project direction, deliverables, execution. In-house, it is going to be a full control. Like you have a complete control over all these things. Whereas in-house, it depends on the your outsourcing partner. So project control is very high. So I rated 5 in case of in-house and 3 in case of outsourcing. Uh, Flexibility, again, it's ability to adapt the changes. I think for a MVP case, if the scenario change, it will be reacted by both teams similarly, like in-house as well as outsource. So I rated equally to both of them. So similarly, we can evaluate against each of these decision indicator and then do a total score, and that should help you out with your decision. Um, Again, I will share this Excel. If you have a cases, I would really like you guys to try it out and check if this makes sense. This decision matrix is giving you exact result which you or exact decision factor or decision score which you can take up and then use it for outsourcing strategy. Uh, if there are any tweaks or any changes you need me to do it, please feel free to suggest the changes on this. So I want to keep at least 5 minutes for question and answer. So I will try to rush through the couple of slides. Uh, in this slide, we're gonna discuss strategic partner selection. See, basically, we can discuss all the things like a strategies, what to do, what to not do, how to identify, and all those. But choosing the right outsourcing partner is a crucial for success of your outsourcing strategy. Here, I have listed some of the tips on how to select the right partner. So evaluate expertise and experience. Look for the partner with a proven track record in the required technology or domain. Check references and reviews. Ask for the references. Speak with the past client to understand their experience. You can also look for the Google reviews or online reviews if available. Uh, Assess the cultural fit. Not given that much of a significance, but it has a very high significance. So ensure that partners' working style aligns with your company's culture and value. So you can have a questionnaire in place. You can during the interview, you can ask the right question, and that's how we will find the cultural fit, right cultural fit. Again, very important, specifically happens in case of where we are going for a cost saving. Review the financial stability, verify that your partner is financially stable. This will avoid any potential disruption during your ongoing assignment. Uh, okay, so successful collaboration with your outsourcing partner depends on several key factors. I just listed it here. Again, like quite clear, but let's cover quickly. Clear communication, establish a clear communication channel for updates, daily status and all. Define SLAs before you get into the project or so set the clear service level agreement to manage the expectations. Collaborative planning, involve your outsourcing partner in strategic planning and decision making. So basically treat your partner as a extension of your team rather than some third party team, right? uh, Performance monitoring, important point, continuously monitor and evaluate the partner's performance against the metrics which which you might have created at the start of the assignment. Okay, risk management. So while outsourcing offers many benefit, it also comes with a risk. And in this slide, I wanted to discuss some of the common risks and also the mitigation strategies for how to mitigate those risks. So what are the common risks in the outsourcing, right? Data security and privacy. So uh, this is again top rated, at least in the industry where data sensitivity is there, like a banking or healthcare. Most of most these data sensitive projects are like this is a common risk there. Risk of sensitive information being compromised. Quality control is again a common risk across all the projects where ensuring the quality work of quality of work meets your standard or company standard, right? Dependency on third parties goes against all the principle of outsourcing, but then there is a mitigation strategy for this. So basically, when you are outsourcing, you have a over reliance. In some cases, it might happen that you are over reliant on the external partner, and which can be very risky. We have we have fixed some of these scenarios for our client, but yes, over reliance is very risky thing. Cultural and language barriers with specifically it can happen in the cultural this thing can happen in the same this thing also, same country also, but then if you are working on the offshoring cross country this thing, then language barriers are also add to it. So potential miscommunication due to this differences could hamper your project, and that is another risk which you have. So how to mitigate this risk, right? So basically, implement robust security measure to take care of data security and privacy. So use encryption, secure access control, regular audit. This will at least minimize your data security and privacy risk. Establish clear quality standard. You should do it before you get into the assignment. So define the quality metrics. Conduct the regular reviews to make sure the quality standards are being followed. Uh, then third one, diversify vendor to take care of the over reliance risk. So you can avoid over dependency by working with the multiple vendors. Like let's say you are outsourcing both software development and quality assurance work, right? So instead of choosing one vendor to give both the work, try to find different vendor for quality assurance and different vendor for software development. Basically, if there is some issue with one vendor, or then you at least have another vendor, and that area is minimalized. The impact area is minimalized. Okay. Then the last one is the posture cultural understanding, uh, basically to take care of the cultural and language barrier. You will have to invest a bit in cross-cultural training wherever possible. Uh, if you have already taken care of it during the interview, then like you have already established a proper cultural fit, then you may not have to. But if you if there is a gap, you can always invest in cross-cultural training and clear communication protocols. Basically in this slide, whatever we have learned till now, I just wanted to put it in a framework and come up with an like step by step, maybe a guide or a strategy to implement the outsourcing. So quickly, I have divided it into five steps. We have covered each of these steps or discussed at least discussed on each of these steps. Let's just put it in a framework. So step one will be assessing the needs. Uh, you will have to identify the functions to outsource, conduct a cost benefit analysis, use the Excel or a decision matrix which we discussed. This will establish the needs and all. Once you have that, go for the selecting right partner. Again, we discussed how to select the right partner, the tips about it. So research the potential partners, uh, evaluate their proposal, conduct interviews, find out the cultural fit and all. So get the reviews or get the feedback from past clients. So that will take care of this second step, uh, selecting a partner. Once you have selected right partner, then the third step begin where you negotiate the terms. This is very important. Mostly everybody does it, but in case you are missing out, make sure that you define the SLAs, payment term, timelines, quality standard, everything, and just like you'll have to discuss it and then draft and sign a detailed contract. This is going to be helping you both, like partner as well as you, in the uh, conflict situation, because you have everything written in terms of a contract. So once you have this, you are going to start with your outsourcing project. So transition and onboarding is the next stage. You'll have to plan the transition process properly, provide the necessary training and the resources, KT or whatever document or tools your outsourcing firm needs. So this will enable the effective transition into your project. If I am doing any outsourcing, I would try to make sure that the outsourcing partner is as close as my employee working on the project. So the last step is like a continuous process where you can like you need to monitor and review. So basically, regularly assess the performances of your outsourcing partner. Also have a discussion, provide this feedback, adjust the strategy based on the feedback and results. So this will I think this is a high level framework where we if we fit in all these things, uh, it is going to be a like successful outsourcing. It will give you a successful outsourcing strategy. We have covered a lot of ground today, and now it's time for your questions. We do have 5 minutes. Please feel free to ask your specific question. Share your concerns you may have with all the pointers discussed. Uh, I'm here to provide whatever, like provide a detailed and actionable answer. If I don't know anything, I will definitely go back and research and I will get back to you. Okay. Seems like the webinar was quite self-explanatory and there are no more questions, but okay. So if there are no questions and or if there are questions and you want to ask me later, I have there like my contact information listed. I will also share it with you once the webinar is over. So my email ID is here, our website address is here. You can always reach out to me for maybe for questions, queries, or consultation. I always like to talk to people and get their views on the thing. Okay. Uh, let me quickly recap. We do have a couple of minutes. So what do we cover in the overall this webinar? We discuss the benefits and cost saving of outsourcing. Uh, we discussed like how to identify optimal areas of for outsourcing via case studies as well as on different on the criteria and the decision matrix and all. We also discussed strategies for selecting the right partner and how to manage risk, right? And then lastly, we tried to fit all these things into the implementation roadmap. We discussed several best practices, even if it was not put in one slide. We were discussing, or at least my attempt was to discuss it all over the presentation. So, if I have to conclude, in conclusion, I think outsourcing can provide a very significant strategic value in today's competitive landscape. I encourage you to take a first step towards the effective outsourcing if you are not already done in your organization. And if you're attempted outsourcing and somehow it failed, I hope the today's webinar could help correct those couple of points here. Okay. Again, my contact information is here. And so finally, thank you all for attending today's webinar. I hope I was able to give you some additional insight or information on outsourcing. So that's it from my side. Happy exploring and thank you again.